Georgia, make some noise! All right, black family, welcome out, welcome out. Good to see everybody. Peace and love. Peace and blessings to everyone. It's good to be back in Atlanta. Thanks for coming out. It's graduation weekend. And I want to say congratulations to all the brothers and sisters who are earning their bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, doctorate degrees, our high school brothers and sisters, middle school brothers and sisters, and even our babies in elementary school. Education is very, very important. Sometimes we forget that because the quality of the education we receive often turns our children off from what it actually is. I'm going to ask brothers, if you see some sisters coming in who need a place to sit, especially my brothers on the outer rows, as I see some queens over here, please let's cater to our women. They need to see that. It's been so long since they had that. And that's an important thing to talk about too, because sometimes when I talk to the young brothers in the prisons, in the halfway houses, they tell me how they don't respect black women unless they see them respecting themselves. And I got a little bit of a problem with that, because a true man, a true God, is not going to reduce himself down to a level that is disrespectful of what the feminine energy should be celebrated as. And so a real black man will lift that black woman up and make her respect and appreciate and acknowledge the divinity laying within her. This journey of mine, brothers and sisters, started 15 years ago. 2 days before my 25th birthday, I had earned my master's degree in school psychology from Millersville University in Pennsylvania. And I came back to the school district of Philadelphia to do an internship, which was necessary if I was going to be certified. So I came back to Philadelphia. I was excited because my father sent me away to military school. So I really didn't get that inner city high school experience because it was cut off in the 8th grade. But I respect the decision he made, because my father thought I was a mama's boy. So he said, I'm going to get you away from your mama's skirt. And that's what he did. And so going to that white racist high school did help me understand what racism was all about. So when I graduated from college and had a chance to go back and do my internship in the neighborhood where I was raised at, North Central Philadelphia, and I went to Duckery Elementary School and Meade Elementary School. These are all the schools I went to as a child. And I had a Jewish school psychologist supervisor. You get licensed by working under the supervision, or certified, excuse me, by working under the supervision of someone who's already certified. So this Jewish woman was giving me children to test on my own, because I had proven I could do the work. And so I'm testing these black children, mostly boys, some Latino, and I'm evaluating them. And child after child who I'm giving an IQ test to, I'm not seeing anything wrong with them. I'm giving a reading test and I'm not seeing anything wrong with them. I'm giving a math test and I'm not seeing anything wrong with them. And I'm saying to myself, either I'm crazy or special education is crazy. And so it got worse for me though, because I would call the teachers in and say, I got good news. Little JoJo don't have a reading disability. He has a reading deficiency. And Miss Papanopoulos, you're the reason he has the deficiency. My testing has shown that you're not giving him phonics the right way. My testing has shown that the child doesn't have a mastery of letter-sound association. So he don't know when he sees the letter A, it's pronounced a or a. And so because he don't know the rules of combining sounds, no phonemic development, the boy can't read, not because he can't learn, but you never taught him. And so then the principal called me in the office. I'm 25, fresh out of college, first master's degree. And they said, Dr. Johnson, my teacher told me that you told her she's the reason that boy can't read. I said, yes, principal, but that's true. I can prove it to you. Let me get out. She said, wait. We don't blame teachers when children don't learn. I said, I beg your pardon? She said, we don't blame teachers when children don't learn. But if the teacher not... No. You got it wrong, Mr. Johnson. I wasn't doctor yet. You got it wrong. See, the parents need to be working with that boy. You got it wrong. See, he don't pay attention in the classroom. You got it wrong. He come from a neighborhood where the only thing the boys expect to do when they grow up is sell drugs or play basketball. I said, well, man, with all due respect, I'm from this neighborhood. I grew up around the corner. When my parents divorced, my mother was a single mom. So don't tell me what he can't learn because you're looking at him right now. And so every day, my job, brothers and sisters, was a fight. And what bothered me was when I looked at some of my black school psychologist colleagues, they weren't going through the same type of confrontations as I was. I said, how can this be that every day I'm arguing and you guys are having the time of your life? And I found out that some of them, not all, but some of them, the reason their job was so easy is because they valued the relationship with the teacher and the principal more than the learning of the child. And that's why I want you parents to know here today, you gotta stop getting your child tested every time some white person or some Negro tell you they can't do something well enough. As you sit here right now, half the black boys in this country in the 4th grade cannot read on a grade level. Right now, I don't care if they live in Atlanta, I don't care if they live in Charleston, I don't care if they're in Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Los Angeles, or Seattle. I don't care if they're over in Birmingham, England, where I'll be next Saturday. A lot of them can't read. So are we to believe that the reason our sons can't read is because they can't learn? Or have they not been taught? Now don't get me wrong, parents. I'm going to deal with you in a minute, but, because you got a hand in this, but I got a problem with someone telling me that if a boy can't read, blame his parents when there's a white woman making $60,000 a year with a paid summer, more holidays off than anybody else, one of the best pitchers in the country. She get paid so he can learn, but instead of holding her responsible, we're going to blame the parents, some of whom probably can't read themselves. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because tomorrow we celebrate what? 61 years to the day tomorrow of the Brown versus Board of Education decision. 61 years to the day when the United States Supreme Court said you can't use race in education no more. The United States Supreme Court said race must be abandoned as a factor in determining educational placement or quality. 61 years tomorrow, and I asked you, are the schools still separate and unequal? Yes, they are. But I want to argue something else. Because some of you suffer from the form of post-traumatic slavery disease that I call insane integrationist disorder. What is insane integrationist disorder? This is a Negro who, despite knowing full well that black kids sitting next to white kids does not produce learning through osmosis, who know full well that black people living with, working with white folk does not produce a better quality of life. Logically, you know this, but psychologically, you are addicted to your oppressor. And because you are addicted to your oppressor, your love for him supersedes the best interests of your own children.
All right now.
I'm not going to knock none of you in here who got your children in private school. I'm not going to knock you because you're doing the best thing you thought was possible. The white kids out in the county, they get a better education. So let me take Raheem and Shaquita and put them out there. Maybe they'll learn better, but what you fail to realize is they can segregate your child right there in the classroom with the other white children. You fail to realize that even though he's in a class of white boys, he will be getting a Jim Crow education while the white boy is right next to him. I'm not telling you to pull him out immediately. But I'm asking you this, black mother. Do you want your son getting acculturated to only appreciating the feminine energy of a white female? Because if he go into a white private school, he being taught to honor and love the white female. Black father, do you want your daughter coming home and for her 13th birthday, she want green contacts, hazel contacts, a Beyonce weave? Don't blame media, don't blame radio, don't blame BET, blame yourself. So what do we do, Dr. Johnson? You're telling me that if I put him in a white school, he's going to be taught to hate himself. If I leave him in the ghetto, he got to fight every day, and he may not learn. So what do I do until you build your little school? Unfortunately, you got to choose between the lesser of the two evils. Listen. If it was me with my two little girls and I got to make a decision, I'm going to decide that she goes to the school in the hood. If I can't find an African-centered school, independent or charter, if I can't find an African-centered school, she's going to stay in the ghetto school. You know why? Because in the ghetto school, she might got to fight a little bit. Might got to survive a black eye or two. But I don't have to worry about my baby girl's self-esteem being crippled by racist white females. See, if the education ain't good in the hood, I can work with her at home. If the teacher not teaching her how to count, I can do that at home. But if they teach my baby girl that every time she looks in the mirror, she looking at hell incarnate, I'll never be able to reverse that. Brothers and sisters, on Wednesday coming up, we celebrate exactly 1 year since I started this fundraising crusade to raise this money to build the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. We started with $5 million to give us enough to buy the school and then rehab it. We dropped it to $2 million because we heard St. Paul's College in Virginia was being considered by other people for purchase. And then I just found out 2 weeks ago in Chicago, 3 weeks ago, I got a text message while I was backstage about to come out and do my lecture. And someone affiliated with St. Paul said, Dr. Johnson, I just got word that the federal government of the United States is going to be buying St. Paul's College. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm a student of history. Help me out because I might be missing something. Have you ever heard of the United States government buying a historically black college before? I never heard of it either until mine. And now all of a sudden, as they see us inching a little bit closer, now they want to come and snatch down on the school and snatch it away like a vulture. So by the end of this month, St. Paul's will be federal property. I don't know what they want to do with it. Whether they're going to turn it into a jail or a juvenile detention center, I don't know. And I can't worry about that. I'm hurt because that board of directors at St. Paul's knew my heart and they knew what I was trying to do. And even with $300,000, they wouldn't even work with me. I was praying that they would come to me and say, listen, brother, we like what you're doing. You real. Give us that $300,000 as a down deposit. We're going to let you move in and we're going to set up a payment agreement. We're going to cut out the bank and do a direct buyer to seller agreement. Keep your payments, you keep the school. I prayed for that. But they had white folks running the wholesale. An auction company out of Richmond, Motley's. And Motley's wanted to get paid. So they wasn't interested in no deal that was anything short of the $2 million. For all I know, they could have strung me along the whole time knowing they was going to give it to the feds. But I do know this. As you sit here in the house of the Lord, I know that when one door closes, another one opens. And so last month, I learned about another college. An 85-acre school down in the South. A college that actually was opened by white folk who wanted to bring black folks into the ministry. They would bring them there and they would train them. So this college has a river right next to it. I went, I visited it. So when I hear about a school, I'm on the plane. They got an unfinished gymnasium, big one. They got about 6 houses, 3 apartments, a dormitory, an administrative center. They have a technical trades building that we can use to teach our children electrician and carpentry, plumbing and baking, how to make clothing, hydroponics. And guess how much they want? Only $900,000. Half of St. Paul's. I'm bringing that up because when you go home tonight, if you haven't already, I need you. Your daughter and your son need you. Our babies need you to go to GoFundMe.com /Dr. Umar, DRUMAR, and make a donation. So how much of that $900,000 do we have right now? Well, at last count, we had about $320,000. If you go to GoFundMe, we got about 85, 88, almost 90,000 raised on GoFundMe. But there's another 200+ in the bank from all those checks and money orders y'all been mailing in. So we got 1/3 of the money, Atlanta. 1/3. We 1/3 there. We got 2/3 to go. Now I'm sure there's a hater or two present tonight. My God. I'm still trying to figure out what is it about me that gets so much attention from the naysayers. I ain't got no fancy gadgets, no fancy tricks. I don't claim to have been born in the moon and descended here. Just a regular black man. But the haters love to make me an object of intense scrutiny. And because of that, I can't tell y'all the name of the school. I can't tell you. Because let me tell you what some haters did when the St. Paul's fundraiser started almost a year ago. They got on the phone and called the auction, called the president, called the board of directors and told them that I was a fraud and I wasn't serious and I wasn't raising no money or I was putting it in my pocket. I'm getting calls from Virginia talking about what is going on. We getting emails and phone calls from people who know you asking questions about whether or not this is real. Undermining what the hell I'm trying to do. When I told people I got my doctorate degree, jealous idiots started calling the college I graduated from. They sending me emails. What is wrong with your people? Do you know how embarrassing that is? To get a phone call from white people talking about your people, Mr. Black Man, are trying to bring you down without our help. This is real. So I got to keep the school quiet. But I'm hoping y'all get me over that finish line, y'all. Because I'm ready to get started. I love the speeches. I'm a born orator. I got the blood of Frederick Douglass in my body. I love this. But I wasn't put here just to do this. I just don't want to die as another great voice. We've had several. I want to die like Dr. King down the street, who left something after he gone more than just speeches. I want to go out like Malcolm and Garvey. I want to go out like Medgar Evers. People who had great oration, but left a legacy for somebody. I don't want to be like some of my brothers who just want to spend their whole life teaching and regurgitating information they read out of another person's book and give them no credit for it. I don't want to be one of them. I want to leave an institution for our young people, but y'all got to help me. Stop putting it all on my shoulders. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to do it until the wheels fall off, but I don't want them to keep on buying up every college we look at because we're taking too long to raise the money. And some of y'all sending in $5 donations, but you got a $500 hairstyle on your head. Some of y'all sending in $20 donations, but you got a $700 big truck car note that you're paying every month. So it's okay to give Nike $250 for some new LeBrons. But you ain't got $250 for a new reality for black children. I was backstage, I got a text, somebody said Damon Dash is in town. Good, I want to meet with him. Okay, Rockefeller, Papafeller, whatever. I need some money. So if anybody know where Dame at, let me know. All right, because we need to have a conversation. He talking about he can generate all this money. I respect the brother. He got good business sense. Let's sit down and have a conversation. But don't make this fundraiser about rich blacks, because they have never financed our struggle. Show me rich black folks financing the Nation of Islam. Show me rich black folks financing the Garvey movement, the Hebrews, the Moorish science. We never had that. Even Dr. King, mainstream Southern Christian Leadership Conference, could barely get rich blacks to donate anything. Come on now. So stop trying to pass the buck so you feel justified in giving those Koreans down the street all your money. So please, brothers and sisters, go to GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. Now, a couple weeks ago, the police were at it again in Baltimore. They took one of our young brothers, Freddie Gray, separated his spine from the column of his brain, and then said he did it himself. I mean, sometimes they think we stupid. How can a person separate their spine from their skull? Do you know how much nerves run through this? So what are they trying to say? The brother reached back here like Predator and snatched it? And then our brothers and sisters took to the streets. They called them rioters. President Obama, who you love, called them criminals. The mayor of Baltimore called them thugs. Ferguson all over again. But there was a little twist to Baltimore. Because see, Baltimore, they've been catching hell for a long time. They was ready to pop for a minute. This was just the switch that ignited the haystack. So when I heard about it, I spent so much time in Baltimore. Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman came from Baltimore. It's only 90 minutes from Philadelphia. I'm always there. I said, I want to have a town hall meeting and get to the bottom of this because somebody's lying. So if you go on YouTube and type in Dr. Umar Baltimore Town Hall meeting, you can watch the whole thing. It's like 3 hours. Testimony after testimony from brothers and sisters telling the truth about what happened. And guess what really started the riot? Well, they came in after, but guess who initiated the riot? There was a Baltimore Orioles game. Our brothers and sisters were having a peaceful protest against police brutality in the name of Freddie Gray. And the white folk, drunk from the game, rushing to get home, came out the Orioles Stadium face to face with our peaceful youth and started shouting the N-word. Face to face with our peaceful youth, trying to run them over with the cars. Face to face with our peaceful youth, started throwing rocks and bottles and stones while the police stood there and watched them and ain't do nothing about it. And so the youth said, if you're going to let them do this to us, this ain't the 60s no more. We not having it. So they picked up the stones and started throwing them back. The riot was started by racist white folk who didn't want to respect a peaceful, nonviolent march from black youth. Did Wolf Blitzer tell you that? Did Soledad mention it? Did Geraldo break it down? They left out the one detail that would have made the whole thing make sense. And then I asked about the school riot. Remember they said the kids sent the text? They sent a text message, we want to riot and tear down the mall. I found out that not a child in Baltimore sent that text. That the police sent the damn text. If the text came from a child, do you realize they could have found the exact phone that triggered the lie? And then they said, Dr. Umar, let us break it down a little bit more. When the kids got let out of school, the police were already waiting in riot gear. They said the children tried to get on the buses to take them home, the school buses as well as the public transportation. And the police got on the bus and ordered the children off and told the buses to get the hell out of Dodge. And then they said the reason why there were so many children outside the mall wasn't because they wanted to riot. It's because the transportation center is right next to the mall. Look at the lies on CNN. The lies on C-SPAN. And then they brought up the drugstore. The Walgreens or the CVS. What was it? A Rite Aid? First of all, I didn't have a problem with that burning anyway. You know why? Because people was all on my Twitter, well, Dr. Umar, you said you support the rebellion, but do you realize that some of our people need the medicine from that? I said, are you aware that there's research coming from the American Medical Association, the white folk, that said most black people who die from disease are not dying from the disease, but the medication they take for the disease. One of the brothers at the town hall meeting stood up. He said, Dr. Umar, don't you find it odd that they got video of people stealing stuff out the drugstore, but no video of the people who allegedly burned it down? He said, do you know why that is? The police put that thing on fire. They said, look, if it was one of us, we would have been arrested the next day. They said, furthermore, do you realize that right next to the drugstore is a strip of stores? There's a weave shop, fried chicken restaurant, sneaker store, and then a place that sells like blunt chewing gum and toothpaste. You gotta be careful of what you watch and what you listen to. The media is a propaganda campaign designed to control public opinion. And the sad thing about media, the sad thing about our black film producers, somebody told me yesterday that the city of Atlanta wants to give Tyler Perry like 100 acres to build a massive entertainment and movie production complex. Now some of y'all say that'd be nice, but you're missing one thing. They not investing in that for you. That's for the new Atlanta. Or better yet, the old Atlanta. Let me tell you how this works. We're going to put Tyler Perry face on the new entertainment complex so black people think it's all for them. And when that complex gets erected, the property value goes up quadruple. And then all the black folk who thought it was for them can't even afford to live around it. Same thing they did in Brooklyn when they put Jay-Z's face on the Brooklyn Nets and moved millions of black folk out of Brooklyn, raised the property value, and sent them out homeless. Use a black face when you want to erase. White folks ain't putting no money in you. You don't even invest in yourself. So I'm going to go back down to Baltimore and do some work. I'm going to start a youth chapter down there. I love Baltimore. If you've never been to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum, go check it out. I was on CNN. Some of y'all saw it. TV One. They had a town hall meeting on the Baltimore Rebellion. For some reason, my comments didn't make the final edit. But something in me said, go to the slave dungeon. I went down there. Something about that slave ship in Baltimore, y'all. It's the closest thing to the real thing. If you've never been to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum, it only costs $12 to get in. Let me get back to this miseducation thing. Number one, I need y'all to understand that every diagnosis we give is a what, y'all? Opinion. That's right. I'm bipolar. That's an opinion. I'm borderline. That's an opinion. I'm depressed. You might really be depressed, but the evaluator is only making the best guesstimation. When someone says your son is autistic, they might be wrong. When someone says your baby got a math disability, they might be wrong. And I want every last one of you parents to understand me when I say this. If your child is below the 4th grade and somebody's saying they got a disability of any kind, I can guarantee you 85% of the time they are wrong. You don't bring me no 8-year-old baby talking about can you test him for ADHD? Do you know what ADHD is? ADHD is ain't no daddy at home disorder. That's what it is. It is a lack of discipline in the home. Ain't got nothing to do with no brain medication. My son takes 5 milligrams of Ritalin. My daughter takes 6 milligrams of Adderall. My grandson has just started a trial of Concerta. My little baby girl is on Metadate. They said my boy got anger problems. He's taking Risperdal. They said my baby got borderline. They got him on some Prozac and Paxil. Are you crazy? In fact, what I like to do when I travel, because y'all don't listen to black people, I gotta bring teaching aids. So I brought me a teaching aid. This is the physician's desk reference to prescription medication. Let me see what it says about Ritalin. I turned to the page so much. Side effects of Ritalin include rashes, itching, fever, psychological hallucinations, physical convulsions, dizziness, arthritis, appetite loss, visual disturbance, abnormal heart rate, obsessive compulsive disorder, chest pain, stomach pain, psychotic reaction, changes in the blood's components. I'm reading from the book, brothers and sisters. Headache, weight loss, sleeping problems, and check this out, baldness. Stop laughing. You know why you're laughing? Because you're picturing your son bald-headed. Stop it! A little bit of concern, it ain't that much. By the time that boy 10, he might look like Kojak. Not only that, it tells you that it causes sexual dysfunction issues. What do you mean, Doc? It's right here. You can get this book for $7 at the supermarket. You ain't got to have no PhD. $7 in every drug in here. Not just the brain drugs, but the one you taking, sister, for blood pressure. And the one you taking, brother, for diabetes type 2, reversible. You better start checking out the side effects of the medicines y'all taking. A $7 book. Stop believing what the white man is telling you. So Dr. Johnson, let me get this right, because I'm listening to you, and are you telling me that my son might have problems making a child because he's taking ADHD medicine? That's exactly what I'm telling you. Parents, y'all got to wake up and smell the coffee, and y'all got to stop getting them evaluated. You know why? Because if you don't believe in drugs, you don't believe in ADHD. I'm going to say it again. If you don't believe in drugs, why was that child evaluated in the first place? Do you realize the only reason they want him tested is to medicate him?
Yes. That's right.
Well, I just wanted to see if he had a problem. What are you talking about? These white folks ain't playing. Do you realize that once you come back with that paperwork and tell them I'm deciding not to medicate my son, they're going to call Child Protective Services on you, and that a social worker is in your house talking about they smell leftover weed. I'm telling you what they do. You ain't have enough food in the refrigerator. There's not enough square feet in this apartment for 3 children. This apartment is only fit for 1. And so because you ain't got adequate living space, now ain't nobody saying nothing about the Mexican children. It's 50 of them in one room. No social workers at their house. And when they start marching your children away, they don't just march away Raheem on the medicine. They march them all out. I'm telling you that they are breaking up families in the name of ADHD. If y'all don't stop letting these white teachers tell you that your child needs medication to get a miseducation, are y'all crazy today? You don't let no teacher tell you about psychology. Her degree is in teaching, and she can barely do that right. So people say, Dr. Johnson, why didn't you just open up a charter school, brother? Because you've been at this thing for a year. Why don't you just come to Atlanta, open up a charter school? You in Philadelphia, y'all got more charter schools than anybody else in the country. Why don't you just open up another charter school in Philadelphia? Why you keep trying to do this Marcus Garvey tough it out stuff? You know why, y'all? Not because I like the grueling efforts necessary to make my vision a reality. I know it's the only way it'll last after I'm gone. If I open up a charter school, that ain't going to last after I'm gone, because charter schools are owned by the state. You don't own the charter school, you operate it. Ain't none of these African-centered charter schools ran by us. Excuse me, we run them, but we don't control them. And I'm not knocking them. I support the charter schools. Those brothers and sisters are doing the best they can with what they have. But for what I stand for what I stand for. See, I can't change my principles because y'all don't want to be serious about your children. I can't become an integrationist when my spirit is nationalism. You understand? So I can't change with the times. People say, well, your people don't care about that, brother. You need to change. I can't do that. If I die without my school being created, so be it. But I'm not going to settle for something that I know in the long run is not going to be in the best interest of our children. I was in Chicago a few weeks ago, y'all. And a brother came up to me and gave me a workshop from the new 5th grade sexual education curriculum in Chicago. Guess what they teaching our kids in Chicago in the 5th grade? They got a new sex ed curriculum that teaches the 5th graders how to use anal condoms. This is going on in Chicago right now. I saw one of the worksheets that showed them step by step how to put on and apply an anal condom. They sneaking it in behind your back. They don't even tell parents no more when they change the curriculum up. This is why you gotta look in your children's textbooks. We already got books that got 2 women as a family in them. Your kindergartners are reading the colors and the cartoons. That's why I want my own school. I open up a charter school, sooner or later, all of them gotta teach unnatural sex education. I don't want that. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate no African. No matter what their issue is, everybody in here got an issue. Some of y'all don't wash up every day. We all got an issue. Some are worse than others. But I can't hate no homosexual black man because I know 9 times out of 10 the reason he's homosexual is because his parents don't know how to choose babysitters too well.
All right now.
I'm not going to hate him. I disagree with his lifestyle. I will let him know that. But if my brother need to have a conversation with Dr. Umar, we going to talk in private. But don't ask me to co-sign your lifestyle because that is not an African reality. That's all I'm saying. They try to make me into a hate teacher. Everywhere I go, homosexual this, homosexual that. Some of y'all saw the video when I was in Kansas City. Yeah. I mean, the word was out in Kansas City, Jack. Before my plane landed, I was getting texts talking about, you sure you want to come here, brother? I'm like, damn, y'all ain't got my back? What's up? I mean, brothers, even conscious brothers, they dumb. They said, damn, I heard the LBGT gang is coming for you, brother. And they came in there too, they was deep as I don't know what, brothers, and they sat through most of the lecture, so I'm peeping. I had my little squad ready though, because I didn't know we were going to have to rumble one up in there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Some of our, lesbian sisters, they got a strong right hook, I ain't know. You know what I mean? So I had to get ready. So y'all saw the one sister, she jumped up and started attacking me and called me a homophobic, a word that doesn't even have an origin in psychiatric literature.
You ain't afraid of nobody.
Homophobic. That ain't never been in the DSM. In fact, he go to DSM right here. Homophobic. So I turned to the phobias, right? Because I was trying to be intellectual with the system. I said, okay, phobia. Here we go, phobic disorders, page 121. Because I'm trying to be scientific. So I went to 121. I say, here you go, sister, agoraphobia. All kind of phobias. Where the homo one at? It's not in there.
That's right.
Homophobia is a word they made up to castigate anybody who disagrees with the lifestyle. Now help me out, black folks. We've been around for a while. I'm 40 years old. Some of y'all older than me, a little younger. But have you ever heard of any situation in American society that you are not allowed to disagree with? allowed to disagree with Christians. You're allowed to disagree with Muslims. You're allowed to disagree with Republicans. You can disagree with Democrats. You might like this fraternity versus that, this church over that, this sorority over that. But when it comes to homosexuality, you're not allowed to have a damn opinion. Have y'all noticed that? You mean to tell me I don't have a right to say that I don't believe a man should be with a man the way he's with a woman?
Say it.
See, here's my thing. Who loses the most from this? Black women.
Come on now.
Sisters, I'ma just be real. This homosexual war is about you. You ain't got enough men to go around as it is. And they out here drafting elementary school kids. I got children in the 3rd grade talking about they gay, can't even spell it. Yes! This is about black women. Let's be honest now. I work in middle class America. Most of the black men I see, not all, but at least more than half of them are kind of effeminate in their disposition. I look at the blacks in the media. I look at the ones in the church. I look at the ones lecturing on the college circuit. I look all around. And if you notice, there's an effeminizing tendency now going on amongst middle-class black males, to the point that our young brothers who just graduated from Morehouse today, a lot of them are going to have to make a decision about how far they want to go with their career. Because what's going on now is the homosexual dictatorship in the black community is forcing young men to participate in acts of sodomy in order to get ahead in their career.
All right. All right.
And you talking about young black men who was raised on a diet of materialism, raised on worshiping big cars and fancy houses and all the women they can get. Is your son spiritually grounded enough? Is your 22-year-old spiritually grounded enough that when that clique comes and sit down with him and say, listen, brother, we can help you take that career to a whole nother level. But in order to get down with us, you got to turn around. Is your son spiritually, I'm talking realness. Is your son spiritually grounded enough? Is your daughter spiritually grounded enough? Here's the issue. Any problem we got in the black community, I don't care if it's male, female, heterosexual, homosexual, I don't care if it's bourgeois versus corner boy. We got to handle those problems in the house. Right. We got to stop airing our laundry in front of white folk. Right. One thing I respected, because you know Malcolm X and Roy Wilkins didn't get along. Malcolm X representing black nationalism and Roy Wilkins representing the integrationist element of the civil rights struggle. They argued all the time. In fact, he was one of the only blacks in the integrationist movement who would dare debate Malcolm on TV. And so Malcolm and Roy Wilkins, or it might have been James Farmer, they would debate after debate, and one day they said, wait a minute, we don't agree with each other, but we both black. Do you realize we are making a circus for these white folk who don't care about neither one of us? Study your history. And so Malcolm and Farmer or Wilkins decided to stop debating on TV. That's why they stopped, y'all. They said white folks don't care about either one of us. And that's what I'm telling the LBGT. That's what I'm telling the integrationists. That's what I'm telling the bourgeois. That's what I'm telling the white Jesus Christian. If we got an issue, let's talk about it behind closed doors. Stop bringing white folk into the conversation. Some of you black men, y'all need to get it together. I had a brother email me one time talking about, listen, I bought 2 tickets to come to your lecture. And one of them is for my white wife. And she wants to know why she can't attend. I said, brother, this is for black folks. Yes, but she's my wife. Yes, your wife, your problem, not ours. What the hell is she here for? I can't go to her meeting. I'm serious. A lot of black men, what I see is a lot of the brothers with the white women, a lot of y'all are marrying poor European Jewish females. Am I wrong, sisters?
No.
And whether they're Jewish, Italian, Irish, Anglo, Scandinavian, Catholic, Asian, whatever it is, you want them to come to our meeting. But she wouldn't dare take you to that benign British Jewish meeting. You can't go up in there. When them Italians had a meeting, your Italian wife ain't bringing you. You can't even drop her off. But every time black people have something to themselves, we being racist. Have you ever seen anything in a Jewish synagogue but a Jew? Have you ever seen anybody working in a Chinese store behind the counter except Chinese people? Have you ever seen anybody behind the counter at the Arab gas station but Arabs? But soon when we say we want to have some racial exclusivity and then people level all kinds of charges at us, make you feel bad about loving yourself, the hell with them. Unapologetically African. Unapologetically African. No more excuses. We ain't got to apologize for who he is. Every time I look up, somebody apologizing. I had a Negro apologize for me. I didn't ask you to get them white folks know, well, you know, this is Dr. Johnson, he can be a big sexual. You're going to apologize for me. Well, before we start this interview, we do want y'all to know that he can be a little extreme. Apologizing for me. I'm unapologetic. I don't care what the white folks think about me. And y'all got to be the same way. Well, this is one of the reasons we got to become more entrepreneurial. You got to get off that plantation. Because until you get off that plantation, you will never have a free tongue. The only reason I can talk the way I talk is because I'm self-employed. You got to get there. I didn't say do it overnight. It's a process. Make sure you find the right business coach. Better yet, find some other Africans in Atlanta or your hometown that you can go into business with, so when y'all take a hit, it's not all on your shoulders. And we got to get more creative with the black businesses we have. I still don't understand why every city I go to, and I've been to most of them, why we don't have once a month a Black Wall Street event where every black business in the city is there at the same time. We keep telling black people to buy black, but you got to make it convenient when that woman got 3 kids and no car. How you gonna make her feel bad about buying black when your shop on the other side of the city and you gotta take 3 boats to get to it? We got to help black folk out. The heart of business is convenience. Why do you go to the corner store? Because it's convenient. Why you filling up at the Arab gas station? Because it's right by work. You know black folks ain't committed enough to be disciplined enough not to give their money to another culture and wait till they see you. We ain't got that type of dedication no more. They had it back in Dr. King Day. 381 days not a black person rode the bus. Did you hear that? Montgomery, Alabama. And I don't know if we got any Alabamians in here, but I'm going to be in Birmingham, Alabama, Thursday, June the 18th for the very first time. And I don't know if we got any South Carolinians in here, but I'm going to be in Charleston, South Carolina, Saturday, June the 13th. And may the Lord get me up out of there after the election. I heard they got white folk down there, don't know slavery over. But my trip to Charleston is long overdue. I'm a big Denmark Vesey fan. Big one. Long Gullah Geechee, all that. Birmingham, that's been a long time coming. Dr. King is one of my heroes. That's why I had to go to the shrine yesterday, because I hadn't paid Dr. King no respect in about 2-3 years. It's important to show that respect to the ancestors, y'all. Their ashe is at those grave sites. But don't be running off the Dr. King grave site when you ain't even been to the one of your own grandmother. It starts with home. Some of us love to be pouring libation to Malcolm X and Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and Danny Adams Rhodes and... But you totally skip over little cousin John who got shot by the cops last year. You all off into everybody else's bloodline before you dealt with your own.
Talk about it, brother.
Very important, y'all. Very important. We're going to need them ancestors this year. Last time I was in Atlanta, I told you guys that 2015 was divined to be a year of drama and violence and catastrophe, because it's ruled by the forces of Shango and Oya. So Baltimore was predicted. In fact, when I got to Baltimore, a sister pulled me to the side and said, "Brother, I just got to let you know, you called the riot before the riot." I had a lecture in Baltimore for Black History Month where I talked about Shango and Oya rule in 2015. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, there's going to be more of it. Don't duck and run from it. This is divine energy, wiping wickedness away from the earth. You can't pray it away. You got to wash it away. And I'm going to tell you something, black men. Let me say this to the black men in here, and I'm serious. And I don't talk violence. I don't like to do it. But I see the police have gotten so arrogant. Obama's scared of them. The governors are scared of them. The mayors are scared of them. I don't want this to come to pass. I pray it don't. But I'm a realist, and I got to deal with things as I see them. And I believe that the only way we're going to stop what's happening against our people is we're going to have to buck up, strap the hell up, and face off with them a few times so they know we're not happy. I'm serious, black men. We got to stop being cowards. Stop letting them kill our women and our kids. Deacons of defense. The deacons of defense knew they couldn't beat the police force. But that's not why they bucked up with them. They did it to let them know, if we gonna have some casualties, you gonna have some too. I don't want it to come to that. But at some point, brother, we got to wake up and smell the coffee. These cops are out of control. And the only thing that's gonna put them back in line ain't no voting, ain't no marching, ain't no praying. It's gonna have to be black masculinity. And black woman, stop beating up the black man. I know he's not perfect. Lord knows he ain't. But you got to be humble sometimes and look in the mirror and say, most of these men that we got out here, many of them, not most, who you claim to be dysfunctional, were raised by their mothers. I'm saying that feminine energy created the effeminate males that won't take the responsibility that you need them to assume. And then I hear from women who talk about irresponsible men, and I look at the one you raising.
All right.
And he's just as bad, if not worse, than the one you dealing with.
All right.
Babying your son up, spoiling your son up, treating him like a king. He ain't got to work for nothing, ain't got to clean nothing. Right. That's my son.
Yeah.
Ain't good for nothing.
Yeah.
Grow up lazy, and all he want to do is find a woman who gonna be just like his mama.
Yeah.
This is real. And black men, stop beating down our sisters. Half of her personality is a reaction to your irresponsibility. And if you believe in having more than one wife, be honest with the woman. Don't lead her along and string her along. Manipulate her into double wifery. Putting her in harm's way. She a nice little, sweet little sister, and you got a roughneck over here with one eye. Your pretty wife gonna be all beat up by the time one eye done. Don't put her in no situation like that. And woman, don't put no brother in that. We got this thing in the hood called almost divorce. I'm sick and tired of being the almost divorced people. Well, yeah, we separated 3 years ago. You ain't divorced yet. Brother, stay away from another man's property. Until that paperwork is done, that woman belong to him, you better be careful. Because he got one eye too.
Oh my God.
Play with the wrong man's cookie jar, you catch a casket today. And we need to stop looking to build a relationship so fast before we even know the person.
Come on.
Stop trying to use me as a get happy quick device. If you miserable with your own life, what am I going to do about it?
Come on now. That's right. Oh my God.
You dating me to distract you from your internal issues that you don't want to face. And I know you using me as a band-aid for happiness, but I'm so damn thirsty. My next book for women is called Thirsty. And then somebody said you gotta do it for the teenage girl, so I got one coming out called Young and Thirsty. And then somebody said, what about Grandma? Cool and Thirsty! I'm not telling women about themselves. I'm not a woman. I'm telling you about men. And the mistakes y'all make when you date. Getting intimate too fast.
All right. All right.
The faster you get in the sheets, the quicker the relationship ends. Stop looking. Y'all all right over here? We need some therapy? Somebody having a catharsis over there? Okay, that's therapeutic. If a man know you crazy head over heels over him already, my God, how can he take you seriously when you always waiting there hopping on one foot? And when you do have a good man, would you please stop taking advice from women who ain't got no man at all? My God. What you getting a divorce for? Y'all was doing well. Y'all ran into a couple. Well, my mama said it's better to quit while I'm early. Your mama been divorced 5 times and caught 2 cases. What you listening to her for? But I believe in the African way. That means before we get married, your whole family got to check out my whole family. Listen, my baby girl just turned 13. When it's time for her to get married, I'm expecting the whole family. I'm going to pull out a piece of paper and I'm going to do a criminal DNA. And I'm going to do an employment DNA. Who had a job? What was it? How long they had it? And I'm going to do a psychological DNA. Who was crazy? Who was schizophrenic? Who was borderline? You right. that whole family becomes a part of mine. I'm not saying she can't marry him. I'm saying I got to know what I'm dealing with. How many of y'all about to get married and you never even seen the other person's criminal record? I'm not talking about going to jail for selling crack. Some brothers ain't had no choice but to do that, to put Pampers on their baby. I'm talking about going to jail for playing with kids and you don't even know about it.
Yeah.
Brother, I'm saying you're about to marry a kleptomaniac. She done been in jail 10 times, Walmart alone, not including McDonald's. And I know the preacher don't like it, but I totally believe in cohabitation before marriage. I didn't say get a be forever black woman. What's Dr. Umar's rules for cohabitation? 3 months is good. 6 months is pretty good. If it's been at least 2 years, that man already know if he gonna wife you or not. Stop playing with you. If you've been living under the roof with a man uninterrupted for 24 months, he already know if you are wifey or not. The question is, how long are you gonna hang around?
Come on now. Come on now.
But then the church be on me. Some of the pastors and Doc, you gotta stop. Be watching you. Stop telling them to live together. But pastor, if they don't know who they married to. We don't live back in Bethlehem. This is 2015, and black folks is crazy now. Black woman, you did not know that that man does not take out the garbage. He don't spend time with children. He don't change a flat on a car. You call him and say, baby, I'm broke down, it's raining outside. Well, let me get the AAA card. I'm watching the game. Black men, you didn't know that women don't wash her hands before she prepare a meal? Look at the women in here can't sit still. Go right into the refrigerator. Talking about I bless my hand. Some women don't wash every day. They believe in conserving water for the higher mother. 1 pint of water a week. 2 basic bird bath. And you gonna wipe that? Even the baby said it. So I'm saying, take your time. If it's meant to be, you don't have to force it. Some of y'all want to trap people into relationships. If you gotta force them to marry you, can you imagine the type of relationship it's gonna be? You had to force her or him to get married. Do you know what I find in therapy? The people who get forced into marriage are the ones who feel the least guilty when they cheat. Whatever, man, shit, I had to. Ain't shame in my game. I told her and her mom, I'm gonna do me. Brothers and sisters, I need y'all to start reporting acts of racism when they occur. I need you to stop letting people get away with treating you like less than your best. We are not reporting enough. Well, if we report, they're not going to do nothing about it. That's true. Not in your instance. Maybe not in mine. But someone may come along and experience a form of racism with that same institution that you did and had enough tenacity to take it to court. And when the lawyer investigates and see all these claims that were documented, even though nothing was done for you, you might end up rescuing somebody else. Stop letting them cops pull you over for racial profiling and not reporting it. In fact, you can report police online. You don't even have to go down to the station no more, y'all. And internal affairs has to investigate, and you better follow up on them. I remember I did it in North Philly. I was going to see one of my therapy clients, and I went around the block 5 times looking for a parking spot The cop thought it was a drug area. So the cop thought maybe I was looking to buy or looking to sell. So he followed me around and 5 times. And then when it was time for me to park, whoop, whoop. And then that's when he got me. Oh, this ain't over. I went right down to the precinct. He was there when I got there. And his captain came out and tried to talk me out of the report. No, he's a good cop. He would never do. Listen, shorty. Officer Bernarski. I want my paper, and he was in the back. And so while I'm filling out the paper, he got into an argument with the officer, talking about, yeah, I'm tired of these black people always talking about something racially profiled, da, 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 da. He was punching lockers and everything. Mad because he got written up, because what happens if you get too many write-ups, it can mess with your promotions. Stop letting these Europeans off the hook. They don't ever let you off. They don't ever let you off. And whenever you deal with the school principal ain't your friend. The school principal is the warden of miseducation. And every time you deal with him, you better follow up with a letter. Stop all this conversing with the teachers and the principals. And please don't be one of those trifling black parents whose child's teacher never saw your face.
Yeah, come on now.
I'm in the school. Some of y'all don't even go for back to school night.
Not back.
Your daughter is in a play and you don't even stop by to see her.
Come on now.
You signed your son up for special ed, but you never check on him. Some of y'all don't make your kids do homework.
Come on now.
Some of y'all don't even check it. Some of you black fathers I got an issue with raising your son, gotten him thinking he's going to be some kind of super athlete.
Yeah. All right, come on, man.
Are you kidding me? Really? You know that boy can't even jump. He got lead in his feet. And you telling him he's going to be the next LeBron with 2 silver feet. Father, I'm not asking you to take your son's dream. I'm asking you to make sure it's reality.
That's right.
If he don't make it to the NFL, then what? If he don't make it to the NBA, then what? How can athletics be more important than academics? You ain't doing nothing but raising a slave. Slave raising. And make sure you get you an animal that can read spirit in the house. Some cats, some birds. Me personally, I do snakes. I'm a python man. I don't pick them up unless somebody else do that. But if somebody come around me who ain't right, my python stand right up. We got that kind of relationship. I don't care who it is. You need something that can help you read a little bit. Get a goldfish or something. Learn something. The other thing, black people, we have to start creating living wills. Most of you don't have no living wills. You say, well, I ain't got much. What I need a will for? Well, guess what? You worked a day in your life. You at least got Social Security.
Yeah.
Do you realize all them cars you got in the back, somebody gonna lay claim to that? That little 401k you started 10 years ago, got some interest on it. Your children, your brothers and sisters, your parents might be fighting over that. Your book collection, you got every book written by every great African master teacher, original copy, that's worth money. They might go to war over that. Everybody in here, I don't care whether you think you only got 10 cents to rub together, you need a will. A living will. And you can get one done by a lawyer for about $100, or you can do one yourself. But make sure everybody in your life know what they get if you transition. Because right after they cry over you, they go right into dividing up that $100 check. So make sure you let who get what. And stop being an organ donor, plant family. Being an organ donor is letting white folks know that if you need a body part, you can have mine. It's not safe. Did you see the report that came out last week? There was a report that said 1 million black men are unaccounted for in America. Yes, I'm gonna say it again. 1 million black men. How do you lose 1 million black men? They not in jail, they not dead, they not working, they not homeless. We don't know where they went. You believe that? They snatching people off the streets. That's why, brother, if you ever got to go to the emergency room, give them a fake name. Don't show no ID. I'm serious. My name's Johnny Cash. You can bill me. It's the address. I'm serious. Because once your name goes into the computer, it automatically goes to the FBI and the CIA. Yes, it does. You might not get out the hospital that night. Remember, our warrior attorney, Chukwe Lumumba, went to a hospital in Jackson, Mississippi over a year ago. Never came out. He was alive when he got there. Deceased when he left there. Khalid Muhammad got to the hospital alive. Deceased when he walked out. Tupac Shakur got to the hospital alive. Now, better be careful with these hospitals. They ain't nothing but cemeteries. Every one of them got a morgue on the basement floor. Did you know that? I'm going to tell you something else you didn't know. Every mental health hospital has a judge's chamber in the basement. Because if you are involuntarily admitted for being schizophrenic or psychotic or bipolar or borderline, they can keep you in the mental hospital against your will if the judge allows them to. So stop getting crazy checks thinking you're getting over on the government.
All right.
That fake crazy check might get your children taken from you. It might get you locked up. You won't let them put your son in special ed? They found out that you got a crazy check for schizophrenia? You ain't schizophrenic. But by the time they done, they'll be taking those kids from you. And guess who they give the black kids to? The homosexual white couples. Oh, I'm telling y'all what I know, y'all. That's right. Black children are more likely to be given to gay and lesbian families than the child of any other culture, because black children are the least likely to be adopted by black people. In Atlanta County right now, I'm willing to bet you got over 100,000 black kids looking for a place to live. And most of y'all too selfish to think about letting them live with you. So guess what? The gay couples, they just got married, man and man, neither one of them got a job. What's the best way to get that mortgage paid? What's the best way to get that nice car? What's the best way to get you a nice marriage gift? What's the best way to go on our honeymoon? We're gonna go pick up 4 crazy black kids from the Department of Youth. And the way the system goes is the crazier the child, the more money you get for the child. I'm telling you, ain't no white folk looking for no schizophrenic baby with one eye. They took him because he's schizophrenic. So that automatically means instead of getting 600, he get 9. He also takes 3 or 4 different psychiatric medicines. So instead of getting 9, I get 12. He once tried to kill somebody. He's considered in imminent danger of homicide or suicide. I just hit the jackpot. I'm getting about $1,800 for that kid. That's why the white folks always get, you say, why they got 4 black kids and they all got a serious, this one is mentally retarded, this one's psychotic, this one been in jail? Because you get more money. They don't love you. They are pimping your children. Black people are still the hope in this country. Now we got the illusion of inclusion going on. We want black people to blend in with the Latinos. First of all, what is a Latino? Last time I checked, they were African folk whose ancestors was dropped off in Cuba, in Venezuela, in Puerto Rico. How you think Santeria got to Puerto Rico? How you think Paulo Nlakumi came to Venezuela and Cuba? So you mean to tell me you practice our African religion, but you don't know how it got there? How about your great-grandmother brought it and passed it down to you? But in the transition and intermingling of African, Native American, and European, you ended up coming out a little bit lighter than the rest of us. And because you spoke Spanish, you decided that you're just going to create a whole new separate identity from the other Africans.
Come on now.
My great-grandfather Cicero Noel, may he rest in eternity, was a Spanish-speaking Cuban. But you think I'm going to go take some Spanish classes and call myself a Latino? Hell no. I'm an African. I know what I am. And I ain't trying to be nothing else. And let me say this, black people. Stop wasting your time trying to recruit people back into the race. Some of y'all are crazy as hell. Well, I met this Puerto Rican sister and I wanted to bring her into the knowledge of herself. She knows she black. Some of them Mexicans know they black. Some of them East Indians know they black. Some of them Arabs know they black. But why am I going to come to America and identify with the very people that the country hates the most? What am I saying? I'm saying that once we get our act together, once we have a self-contained community, once we have that hospital and that factory and that farm and that clothing manufacturing plant, and we can start putting our own people back to work, I will bet you my life that them same Latinos will become Afro-Latino overnight. How much you want to bet? Some of them so-called untouchable, Dravidian, blue, black, purple, East Indians walking around Atlanta acting like they ain't from Africans will become Afro-Indian in a weekend. The only reason why nobody want to identify with us is because we losing right now. Nobody wants to belong to the losing team. But once we turn this thing around, I guarantee you, once we turn being black from a badge of shame to a badge of honor, you're going to have to give out an application to keep them fake people from claiming they're part of the race. I'm telling you. For my parents in the room, if you ever have any issues with your children, after you read my book, which you're going to get today for those of you who don't have it at the back of the room, if you ever have a question and you need an answer, every Tuesday I host the Dr. Umar Black Parent Teleconference. You can call up every Tuesday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., 2 hours Eastern Standard Time, and ask me anything you want. Doc, they want me to immunize my child. What do I do? You go to the doctor and you get an exemption form. If the doctor won't give you one, you download it from the County Board of Health. Get it notarized. Can't find it, write your own statement of exemption. Get it notarized. Take it to the school. If it's public or charter school, they cannot deny you. If it's private school, they can fight you a little tougher. You might have to get a lawyer, but you can still even get into a private school without being immunized. And why don't you want our kids immunized, Dr. Umar? Because the white man is putting chemicals in the damn serum. Did y'all hear what happened in East Africa 2 weeks ago? They found that they had AIDS inside of one of the, was it the measles or the smallpox? This is just 2 weeks ago. They put a disease inside of the Bill Gates shot. And then the World Health Organization came in and said, we don't know how that happened. Do you really think they're not taking the shots in Atlanta? You people running after the flu shot?
That's right. That's right. Tell it.
Measles, mumps, and rubella, H1N1, swine flu, bird flu. I don't take shots. Wine shot, shot of basketball, no shots! Black kids don't need that in their body. They killing us. Ain't nothing healthier than an unimmunized African child. Medical doctor, but working in the schools, I see it. The babies who never got shots are hardly ever sick. Talking about I'm gonna give you the flu shot, which means I gotta do what? Take some of the flu virus. I'm gonna put it in a chicken and incubate it. Because y'all like chicken. Then I'm going to take it out the chicken. And then I'm going to stick some of the flu in your body. Because the science of immunization says what? I got to give you some of the flu so your body can develop a resistance to it. So when you see the real flu on the street, it can fight it off. And y'all believe that because y'all think white people smart. So they're going to come out with an AIDS shot next. And they're going to incubate the AIDS in some pork ribs. And take it out and put that in your body so your body can develop a resistance to AIDS. So when you catch real AIDS, you notice how we get around white folk and our brains stop working? I'm serious. I see it with my colleagues. We walk into a room, the white person will tell them something they already knew. Thank you so much. You already knew that. I mean, just worship white folks just for being white. That's why they can't come in our meetings. I don't hate white folk, but I know they ain't got my best interests at heart. And what y'all need to understand about racism is what? Racism is not about how white people feel about you. I'm going to say it again. Racism has nothing to do with how white people feel about you, Atlanta. Racism has to do with white people wanting to stay in control of Atlanta. I'm telling you, those white folks who you hang out with, they might think you okay. They might laugh with you, go fishing, invite you over their house for their birthday party. Gonna have a special seat though. They might do all that kind of stuff. But guess what? That's personal. White supremacy is business. Let's say me and the sisters over here, we good friends. But guess what? She got a business selling shea butter. And I have a business selling shea butter. Her shea butter is selling more than mine. I want to know what she's doing to put those juices and berries in that shea butter. But she won't tell me. It ain't personal. That's business. But when y'all get around white folk, y'all don't separate the personal from the business. You think because you went to lunch with them, that it's okay to bring them home too. You can smile at them like they smile at you. Laugh with them like they laugh with you. But at the end of the day, don't you tell them none of your personal business because they will use it against you. But the sad thing is what? As black people, we often feel isolated. You know why? You can't trust white folk.
Come on now.
You can hardly trust your own too. The white folk want to stay in control because they believe God put them here to run this. And the black folk, they just want to outdo you. Do you realize half the blacks in America wake up motivated by two things? To get paid and to outdo the next black person. Black woman, do you know why some of y'all spend so much money on your hair? It ain't because you like to look nice. It don't cost $300 to look nice. It's because I look better than all the sisters who work at the job. Brother, you know why you got that Benz that you really can't afford? Ain't because you need it. You ain't even got nowhere to go. How many of you, y'all know what I'm talking about? Brother get a new car, he drive around the block all day long. Damn, homie. It's like your 13th repetition. Nowhere to go. But I just spent all this money, so I want people to see me. In the meantime, summertime is coming, and your grandma living on the 35th floor of a 35th floor project with no air conditioning.
Come on now.
You ain't even think about her. You just want it to look cute. And then you put TVs in the headrests that you don't even watch. In fact, they put the TV in the headrest so the people in the car behind them can watch Empire at the stoplight. And speaking of Empire, credit for something though. He do not like white folks. You gotta give Lucius that. He could care less about a European. But other than that, you see what they did, right?
Yeah.
They took the Cosby Show and remixed it in the hood. And every black man in Empire, not one of them has a positive relationship with a black female. Lucius can't stand Cookie. The oldest son, Andre, got a white woman. The middle son is hyper effeminate with a white gay homosexual lover. And the youngest son, Hakeem, he don't trust none of the women he dates. He uses them and abuses them. Look at that. A movie with like 6 main black male characters, and not one of them has a positive relationship with a black woman. And then look at the woman. You got Cookie, gold digging, power hungry, I made you, you would be nothing without me energy. And then you got the young sister who dates Hakeem. She's sleeping with another woman.
Yeah.
An empire is not about you. It's about your children. Your daughter in the 4th grade watching that. Your son in the 6th grade watching a mini-series where none of the women are decent and upstanding. And then they watch Scandal. And then they watch Husbands of Hollywood, Wives of Hollywood, Hip-Hop Wives, Basketball Wives. Assassinating the image of the black family. But look at the strategy. Look at the strategy. We're going to kill the image of the black family in the mind of the black child. But at school, we're going to teach them how beautiful it would be if they would just settle down with somebody of the same gender. They are promoting gay marriage while they kill the image of the traditional black family. This is the African extermination Holocaust. This one is different from the Ma'afa of our ancestors. It's different from the one of the European Jews. It's different from the Tasmanians of Australia when they was wiped out by the British. Or the Herero of Namibia when they was wiped out by the Germans. What's making our Holocaust more unique than the others is this is the only one in recorded history. The only Holocaust in recorded history where the victims participated in it. Can somebody tell me why we ain't got a movie on the Nat Turner resurrection yet? Can somebody tell me why there ain't been a movie on the Garvey movement yet? Can somebody tell me why Denmark Vesey's story has never been put to life? But I learned last week that there's a movie coming out about the history and legacy of gangster rap fathers NWA. Look at this, y'all. They're doing a movie on NWA. Ice Cube, Ren, Yella, Dre, and Easy. We can do them, can't we? We can do Temptations all day.
Come on now.
We can do Why Did I Get Married 3 about to come out right now. That's why we got to bring back the drama clubs. We got to begin to put ourselves on stage and let our people see us dramatize the black experience, but from a positive angle. We can't compete with Tyler Perry Studios and Hollywood and Universal, but we can do some low-level things that'll begin to make our people think twice. I want us to dramatize what single black motherhood is really about. Because a lot of us black men think that since the women been doing it so long and it looks so easy that she don't suffer in the process. Dramatize that. Dramatize the black man getting out of jail, trying to find a job and can't. Dramatize him fighting to be with his children, even when she say no. Dramatize that. Dramatize a black woman who ain't comfortable with natural hair, but who loves who she is enough and wants to set the best example for her daughter that she goes nappy and lives through the trauma and abuse and neglect of her own friends for sacrificing a weave. In fact, we should have a weave bonfire. Burn all of it. Have a weave bonfire in Atlanta. Take it all out. A weave bonfire. In fact, we should have a weave baptism. You know, they baptize you, I'm serious. And when you go into the water, we snatch the weave off and you come out. But if she do that, black man, if she take off that weave, you better stand by her side and support her. Because too often black men will talk that weave talk, and the minute she go natural, you're the first one running away from her. That's right. You got to ride with the sister. She'll do it. She will do it. You got to coach her along a little bit, but she will do it. But she got to know that you got her back. She don't need the other men to have her back. She just needs to know that my man appreciates the fact that I'm taking this step. Our daughters need to see that. Now, I know you can't do it tomorrow. We can't have the bonfire baptism tomorrow. Because some of y'all got some patches. In high school, I took up barbering at the military school. They taught us how to cut our hair. I saved probably thousands of dollars because I do my own. And we would cut the young kids' hair. That's how they save money. Same thing we want to do at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. And I'm hoping some of you brothers and sisters who have your cosmetology and barbering license will send me your resume, because we need you to train the older boys and girls so they can do the hair for the younger children. But in being in the barbering program, you know, we was across the hall from cosmetology. So when we wasn't busy, you know, we'd be over there hanging out with the sisters in the cosmetology program. And I would see all the damage to the scalp that black women undergo. And because I know what can be under that weave, I know we got to be patient and give y'all some time. How y'all laughing? You feel me? You know, because sometimes you got to get some of the royal crown and the thick grease. Murray's? No, women don't use Murray. That's for the weight. That's the problem. That's true. Apex, Jax, Magic. No, Magic. What's the thick grease? Magic. The thick grease. The fill in the patches. And brother, you got to love your woman enough to rub the patches and stimulate. Regardless as black man, I think it is absolutely disrespectful for you to parade another woman around in the middle of a black community.
Right.
It's nothing worse than to see a black man with a white, Asian, Oriental. It's wrong. We gotta stop doing that. And for the life of me, I don't know what y'all really see in them. I work with them, and I'm not going to degrade another human being. I won't do that. But I don't find them attractive. They ain't got the shape that I like.
Come on now.
They ain't got the scent that I like. They ain't got the bounce that I like. They ain't got the look that I like. I'm trying to find out what y'all like in these women. Ain't nothing cute about them like that. Big old heads and skinny bodies, no hips, no curvaceousness. And they can't cook either. I know because I had somebody I know. Whoa. Somebody I know. A long time ago had a white woman. And I went over his house and she made us lunch. It was like these turkey sandwiches, and the turkey was all hard and coarse, and the mayonnaise was all thick, no paprika, no jerk sauce, no nothing. So I figured it out one day. When I picked up Franz Fanon, the great black African psychiatrist book, Black Skin, White Mask, who had a white woman, and he told me why black men married white women. It's because they secretly longed to be white their damn self.
All right.
Inferiority complex. And black women, I don't want you to start doing what the brother doing. Because some of y'all that got so frustrated with us, you're like, forget it. I'm going to go and experiment too. But I need y'all to be careful. Because when you start getting into these other cultures, a lot of them have the history of same-sex experimentation. You got to recognize, Sigmund Freud said it was normal for adolescent boys to cohabitate with each other. That's right. White psychology believes it's healthy for a boy to play with another boy sexually. So when you out here talking about I'm dating this white male, I'm not saying most white men are gay, but I know that that culture is much more expressive within that particular society. Y'all need to be real careful. And some of y'all into these Asian men. Me so horny. Y'all need to be careful. I want you to be careful. There's some good black men out here. Sister, just get your act together. Brother, you too, get your act together. Have your house in order. Financially, health-wise. Because I'm up to 270 pounds. I was 180 when I came out of high school. I was a distance runner. The mile and the 2 mile. I normally did the mile and then I hid when it was time for the 2 mile. I'm trying to lose some weight this summer. Get ready for my Egypt trip. Well, actually next summer. Because I'm going to Spartans tonight! I'm lying. Let me be faster. fdmgresumes@gmail.com. We need teachers, yes we do. We need math and science and language, yes we do. I need some people who can speak African tongues and can teach it. I want our kids to have at least 3 African languages. So if you can speak an African language, if you're fluent and you don't mind teaching it, you don't have to have no teaching certificate. Okay? I need social workers, counselors, secretaries, who can type. Talking about I can answer 25 phone calls a minute. That ain't helping me. I need house parents to live with the children in the dorms when they come home from school. I need farmers. I need people who know how to do fishing. We got a brother in North Carolina, y'all. He's going to teach our children how to do shellfish fishing, how to do scallop and scrimps. Oyster! So we would have a fish fry like once a week. I met a brother who knows how to make shoes. an elder. Did I meet him here? I might have met him in Atlanta last time. Chicago, I think it was. He knows how to make shoes. He showed me, he brought the shoes. Brother, I can teach our kids to make their own shoe wear. So we gonna have an FDMG Tams!
Yes.
And yes, we will have females working at the boys' school. Some sisters said, well, it's an all-boys school, but of course, we want to have a balance. Our culture is based on balance. So sister, yes, you can work at FDMG because some of our boys never had their mother. Some of them don't have good relationships with female energy. We need you there so we can approximate that relationship. And if we raise enough money, we're going to open up the girls' school with the boys' school. So we can have the Anna Douglas and Amy Garvey right next to the Fred Douglas and the Marcus Garvey. I'm not leaving our sisters out. We just starting with the boys because you know, like I know, that the war against black boys is 50 times worse than what it is against the sisters. We're not demeaning them at all. In fact, I would argue that we're doing our sisters a favor by building these schools. Because your daughter in a few years, she will be that age. And I want to be able to call up every mother in black America and say, listen, I got a whole cadre of young men graduating, opening their own business. Fine, handsome young men with no sugar in their tank. Bring your daughter down to me.
Yes.
And black men, we got to get married.
Yes.
We can't keep playing around. We're getting too old. I'll be 41 in August. But seriously, marriage is half of African culture.
Yes.
Do you know that in most traditional African societies, come with me to Ghana, you won't see it. You cannot be inducted into the Council of Elders if you were never married. Yes. Ain't no such thing as a single elder. With his gazelles on and no. You become an elder because you are or were married. You might be widowed now, but you were married. They don't play that in Africa, talking about, yeah, you know, it just ain't work out, but I don't like to be an elder. No, we got to get married. Take your time, brother, but you got the wifer. You know why, y'all? Because when we don't marry our women, no matter how much we say we love black women, if you don't love them enough to commit to them, you are undervaluing who they are. That's a reality. Now, I didn't say you had to go to City Hall. That's between you and your queen to be, whether y'all want to go to City Hall. But I do understand why some women want to go to City Hall. Because they say if you die, God forbid, and there's no paperwork saying I was your wife, I could have difficulty getting what's due to me and the children. So I do understand where she's coming from, but a marriage contract can save all that. You still don't need a certificate from downtown. You ain't got to marry the state. Slavery is over. But there does need to be some public proof that she your wife. Because brothers, let's be honest, we take advantage of stuff. You had like 5 wives talking about, I'm still looking. Parents, cut out the special ed. Cut out the ADHD. Cut out the psychiatric meds. Spend more time with your children. You got 2 kids, that means you got 2 dates every month. You got 5 kids, you got 5 dates every month. Every one of your children needs your undivided time to themselves for only an hour or 2 a month. Your oldest daughter, she 18 years old. She's at that age. Hormones is popping. She ready to bake a cookie. She need to talk to her mom on a one-on-one. She don't want her 15-year-old brother knowing that. So she need her 2-hour date with her mom. And she gets another 2-hour date with her dad. Your 15-year-old son, he hanging with boys who practicing homosexuality. He don't know how to take this. He need a conversation with his dad without the 18-year-old. And then he need to talk to his mama. And then his 12-year-old sister, she's still peeing in the bed. She don't want to bring that up at dinner because her siblings are going to laugh at her. She need to talk to y'all in private. And then the little 7-year-old, he got a little speech problem. It's affecting his self-esteem. He needs his own time. I want y'all to see how every child needs their individual time. I know you're busy. I know some of y'all working multiple jobs. You barely get an hour to yourself. But for the sake of our future, find an hour or two to spend with each child. You still spend time with the whole family because you want to solidify family. But within family, every child still needs you. I got to be with my 13-year-old, and I got to be with my 3-year-old. Together and separately. You got to do the same thing. And don't feel bad about keeping your children away from blood relatives who you know are not good examples. Some of y'all struggle a little bit. Why? Because you say, I'm going to have to take my kids out of this neighborhood right here if I'm going to raise them right, because my cousins and my aunts and uncles and my siblings, they're not giving them the right example. And when you pull away, they accuse you of thinking you better than them. But you don't let what they think bother you. You don't think you better than them. You just know you got to do the right thing for yourself. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. I remember I got my first master's. Certain folk in my life started giving me the twists. And then the second one came. What do you need two for? And then the third one came. He just loved school. So you can't let that stuff bother you. And for my educated blacks, those of us with master's degrees, and especially those of us with doctorate degrees, let's set a better example for our people by coming back into the hood and stop running away from it. Stop that. And don't let your degree make you. I have a PhD. Now you think you some sort of god or deity or something. Better find a way to pay back them loans. That's what you need to be doing. Brothers and sisters, if you haven't submitted an article yet for the Unapologetically African magazine, please do so. You can send your article to Umar, the psychologist, at Yahoo. Your article can be no longer than 2,500 words. It can be about anything you want. It does not have to be intellectual. 2,500 words, include your picture. The Unapologetically African magazine will be coming out towards the end of the summer. It will be a Pan-African magazine of culture, life, spirituality, diet, wellness, relationship, family. If you have any ideas for departments that we should have, you say, Doc, I think you need to have a resource page. I think you need to have a page where all black organizations are listed. You need a page for black banks. You need a page for single conscious people looking to connect with other single conscious people. Let me know, but I don't need to get crazy. But if you have an idea, some of you sisters who breastfeed, you might want to do an article on breastfeeding and how to do it better and stimulate the milk and so forth and so on for sisters who struggle like that. Some of y'all who do midwifery and you help deliver babies, you might want to do an article on how sisters can get ready to bring forth that ancestor again. Brothers, you might want to do an article on how hard it is to find a job out here when you have a record. You might want to do an article on how to transition yourself from eating meat to going vegan. Whatever you think is there. Now remember, the name of the article, the magazine is Unapologetically African. And we will have counter articles. Somebody might be an integrationist, want to write an article on how they think Pan-Africanism sucks. I might put that in there because you got to promote that thought and analysis. And black woman, when you send your article in, because it is Unapologetically African, you might got to get you an afro weave and put over your weave and take the picture and send it in. I ain't going to tell nobody that's not your hair. But you can't be all up in there with a Beyonce do. And the unapologetic, you feel me? Get the wig. I know they sell them. Okay? Get the afro wig and do it like that. FDMGresumes@gmail. Umar the psychologist at Yahoo for the articles. DreamerTours.com for the Africa trip. Let me give you my cell number, because some of y'all like, I can't catch all this. How can I get this? You can text me for it. Cell number is 21, this is mine, so go to me. 215. I only got one phone, so yeah, well, who that? Listen, I'm only paying one bill, okay? One phone. If I don't feel like answering it, I don't. Which is why I would request that you text me. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. One more time for my special ed parents. I'm picking with you. 215-989-9858. I want to give a shout out to Sister Anna in the back who works with me. I saw her when y'all came in. She graduated today. Put your hands together for Sister Anna. Got her degree today. Much love, much love, much love. And I want to send a shout out to Sister Chanel. Where you at, Sister Chanel? Graduated from Spelman College. And everybody else who graduated. We gotta support that. That's gonna be my first black college graduation, y'all. I speak at them, but I've never been to a black college graduation. I've been to my first black college band drumline at Jackson State when the president of Jackson State alumni in the house. Yes, yes. I was invited by the president to watch a football game, and I experienced that. And I'm saying that to say this, and I'm going to close with this and give you my quote. And when we're done, I'm going to go outside and sign books outside, so get some fresh air. I never had a chance to go to let me take that back. I never went to a black college. Not because I didn't want to. I got accepted to Morehouse, but I couldn't afford it. The out-of-state tuition I thought was a bit too much for me. I wanted to go to Howard for my doctorate in psychology, but they never sent me the application for 2 years. I'm saying all that to say that for those of you who have children who ain't quite out of high school yet, but they getting there, try to influence them to go to an HBCU. I'm serious about that. Because had it not been for the HBCU, we wouldn't have half the doctors, half the teachers, half the lawyers, half the engineers, half the psychologists, half the professionals. I do understand that one or two of them might party too much. I didn't say don't do your research. I'm saying pick your poison, but send them to a black college. Because they're trying to shut them down. Wilberforce in trouble. Cheney in trouble. Grambling in trouble. St. Paul's, we trying to buy that. And there's about 20 other HBCUs marked for death. NC State, they have a law. NC State, SC State, South Carolina State. I know North Carolina Central has a law program. Howard has a law program. You can find an HBCU for almost anything you want to study. Yeah. So influence your child. If they don't go to a black school for undergrad, send them to one for grad. Yeah. But they need that experience, which I never got. And when I go to Boeing, when I go to North Carolina Central, when I'm at Howard, I'm like, wow, what would that have been like had I had that? But my military school, they didn't push HBCU because they was white folk. So try to get your children that experience. Before you leave here today, make sure you sign the Parent Association sign-up list. I need to make sure I have all y'all for the email list, and I need to make sure I can contact y'all when it's time to start meeting for the Parent Association. You don't have to be a parent. Name, phone number, email address. If you know what committee you want to belong to, sign up for it. You want to help out with special ed? Put that in the comment section on the committee list. You want to help with homeschool? Sign up. You want to help be a parent advocate to help our parents fight to protect their children's rights? Put that. You want to study the economics and finances of Atlanta public schools to make sure they're not pimping our kids' money? Put that. You want to sign up for policy because you want to change some of the rules in Atlanta public school? Put policy. And some of you might just want to help parents who are struggling. Sign up for the social committee. If you want to be a leader or organizer, in the comment section, put organizer. So I know you're one of the people I can trust. If you don't live in Atlanta, you sign up anyway. Because we got to do a chapter where you live. So put your city. I came from Macon, Georgia. Put Macon, because I'm going to call you and say, listen, I've never been to Macon. We got to set up an event so I can come down there, give the parents the information, and then organize the chapter. 2015 is the year of getting work done. The talk is good, but the work is better. So you can sign this one, but there's also one at my merchandise table in the back there. In conclusion, I want to say thank you to Atlanta. I remember the first time I spoke here, it was back in 2011. I forgot who brought me down, it's been so long. And I came to Atlanta for the first time ever. And I was well received. I had on my white Phillies jacket and didn't know how things would be and saw how pretty the women were. I'm kidding. And I've been coming regularly. And along with Chicago and Detroit and Los Angeles and New York and Houston, you guys I consider to be one of my serious backbone cities. Whenever I got to come somewhere or get the word out, I've always been able to rely on Atlanta. And I want to say I do not take my post within this struggle lightly. I may laugh and joke with you, but I am very serious about my work. Very serious. Whenever you come before the people, you better be able to give them something more than your opinion. And that's why we're working so hard to build that school. And that's why I'm hoping you get one of the donation envelopes at the table. I have envelopes now and got technologically sufficient. Because some of y'all like passing me money. I don't want to mix school money with my money. I'm no thief. So I got envelopes done. Ask for an envelope, put the money in the envelope, seal it, put your name, address, phone number, and please put your contact when you make a donation. Because when we open that school, we're going to have a big ceremony for all of you who donated. And I want to make sure you are acknowledged. I know you don't want no credit, but you, by donating, become a part of our history. And we can't lose that. 100 years from now, when people look at who gave money to build that school, your name should be mentioned. Because it ain't about you, it's about the ancestors that birthed you. Yes. In conclusion, I want to say that we got to treat each other better. Yes. We have to be more patient with each other. Stop being so quick to dismiss another African from your life. You don't do it to white folks, and you don't do it to Asians and Arabs, so stop being so contemptuous with other black folk. We deserve each other's mercy, and we deserve each other's compassion. And be merciful with yourself. Some of you engage in some of the most negative self-talk I've ever seen. Half the people I see with therapy, you know what the main thing in therapy is a lot of times with black folk? Stop talking to yourself so negatively. I mean, you got them old tapes playing in your head from when your mom and dad used to verbally abuse you, and now they still playing. We got to stop that tape, and we want to stop that tape by replacing their voice with a much more positive your voice. Right. Don't let nobody make you think you don't sometimes need to talk to somebody. Yeah. People think you only go to a psychologist when you're crazy. No, you go to a psychologist to stop from becoming crazy. In conclusion, my ancestor Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess the faith of freedom and deprecate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain, but scared of the thunder. They want the ocean, but don't want to deal with the roar of the waves. He said the struggle we have might be moral, or it might be physical, or it might be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. Frederick said, for 20 years, I prayed on my knees to God for freedom. But the good Lord gave me no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. He said, men may not get everything they work for in this world, but you must work for everything you get. And if we are to be free, then we ourselves must strike the first blow. He said we may have to pay with blood, with bullets, with our own fists, but we got to pay this price. He said power conceives nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. In the middle of July, I will be taking my first Black Boy College Tour Pan-African Boot Camp. If you have a son between the ages of 11 and 17, and you want him to go on the 1-week boot camp with Dr. Umar, you will be able to register him on a different website, Dr. Umar, HBCUtours.com, DRUMAR, HBCUtours.com. We're going to take them to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum. We're going to take them to different historic landmarks. We're going to have some fun too. Take them to one of the water parks. No Speedos, please. We're going to take them to visit some black colleges. And at night in the hotel, I'm going to do seminars with them on what to do when you get stopped by the police, how to set up your own business, why you need to respect and protect your mother and stop giving her a hard time. We're going to talk to them about depression and anxiety, about why they need to do well in school, African history and culture, white supremacy. If any of you has a son who can benefit from that tour, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that more than the Africa tour. And mother, stop asking me, can you go? Give that boy some breathing space. He can go, but only if I come. No! It's a man's tour. And there will be men chaperoning, and we're going to have some fun. I'm trying to set it up when we meet with the brother who's going to do the shadfish, the sea fish crabbing, who's going to teach it. I'm trying to set it up so we can go and meet with him in North Carolina and take them on the boat so they can go and do some scallop and oystering and stuff like that. So it's going to be a real good experience. 11 to 17-year-old boys. Now I know women, y'all want to know why the girls ain't coming. I'm going to be ready for the girls next year. Not this year, because I don't want no thirst problems. You know what happened when you get them boys and girls together? We all went to camp. Y'all know how that go. I ain't ready for all that because I sleep deep. They'll be partying all over my head. So next year we'll do the girls. I want to call on my ancestors, Father Bailey, Mama Selah, for whom my youngest girl is named. I want to call on Mama Jenny, born in 1745, Ma Betsy, born in 1774, Grandpa Isaac, who was a free black man, although Ma Bailey was enslaved. I'm going to call on their daughter, Grandma Young Betsy, who was sold, snatched from Maryland, sold deep into Mississippi, never to be heard from again. I'm going to call on Uncle Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey Douglas and his wife, Anna Murray Douglas. I'm going to call on great-great-great-great-granduncle Alexander Wayman, 7th Bishop under Richard Island African Methodist Episcopal Church. I want to call on Grandma Caroline, Grandma Vivian, Grandpa Cicero, and all my African-Cuban ancestors. I want to call on my Uncle Clifford, who was murdered at 18 years old in Philadelphia. I want to call on my grandfather, James Johnson, who I only met once. I want to call on great-great-grandma Gertrude and great-great-grandpa Charlie Butler. Call on great-grandma Curly and great-grandpa Robert Shoemake Jr. and great-great-grandpa Robert Shoemake Sr. and great-great-grandma Emma Hollinger. I'm going to call on great-great-grandma Delia Pratt, great-great-grandpa Isaac Johnson, great-grandma Mylene, great-grandpa William Thomas Tillman Sr., Uncle Billy William Thomas Tillman Jr., who was murdered being hit by that trolley. I'm going to call on my little cousin Nancy, who died in the swimming pool at 22nd and Cecil B. Moore, the year of my intern in 2000. I want to call on the original black man, Reverend David Devlin of North Philly, who we buried last spring, such a good confidant of mine. I want to call on my big brother Clifford, who was never my blood brother, but he was the big brother I never had who passed. And I want to call on Dr. Leophis, Shakespeare King, Baba Taharka, who taught me how to drive, who was an advisor to the Black Student Union in college, and who was on my dissertation committee when I got my doctorate. And had he not been on that committee, the white folks would have never let me graduate. And right after I defended my thesis, Dr. King died and we buried him. You got to call on yours like I call on mine. You got to go to them in the night. You got to go to them in the light. I'm here because of them. They are all around us. They are the angels that God has sent to us for help. Brothers and sisters, let's pray more. Let's fast more. Let's meditate more. Let's study more. And let us remember that no matter how much political revolutionary work we do, if we don't keep it in alignment with divine law, it will not work. Remember this. We go through hell, but we will come out of it in heaven. Remember that our ancestors went through something and came up out of it. Don't you dare say we can't. Never give the white man the ultimate victory over your mind in making you think that his rule is impervious. We will overcome the minute we make up our minds to do so. Yes. Remember the words of His Excellency, the most eminent prophet and king of Pan-Africanism, Marcus the Messiah Garvey, who said, up, 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 you mighty race. You can accomplish what you will. Who said God never intended us to be a race without a country, and we are not going to abuse God's confidence in us as men. Who said that you cannot control the bodies of men until you control their minds. Garvey was asked, are you African or are you Jamaican? Are you African or are you a Jamaican? And in response to that, the leader of the largest black organization of all time said, you ask me if I'm an African or am I Jamaican? I answer by saying I would never ever give up a continent for an island. I am an African, yesterday, today, and forever. Atlanta, Georgia, thank you. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Understand what racism was all about. So when I graduated from college and had a chance to go back and do my internship in the neighborhood where I was raised at, North Central Philadelphia, and I went to Duckery Elementary School and Meade Elementary School. These are all the schools I went to as a child. And I had a Jewish school psychologist supervisor. You get licensed by working under the supervision, or certified, excuse me, by working under the supervision of someone who's already certified. So this Jewish woman was giving me children to test on my own because I had proven I could do the work. And so I'm testing these black children, mostly boys, some Latino, and I'm evaluating them. And child after child who I'm giving an IQ test to, I'm not seeing anything wrong with them. I'm giving a reading test and I'm not seeing anything wrong with them. I'm giving a math test and I'm not seeing anything wrong with them. And I'm saying to myself, either I'm crazy or special education is crazy. And so it got worse for me though, because I would call the teachers in and say, I got good news. Little Jojo don't have a reading disability. He has a reading deficiency. And Miss Papanopoulos, you're the reason he has the deficiency. My testing has shown that you're not giving him phonics the right way. My testing has shown that the child doesn't have a mastery of letter-sound association. So he don't know when he sees the letter A, it's pronounced a or a. And so because he don't know the rules of combining sounds, no phonemic development, the boy can't read. Not because he can't learn, but you never taught him. And so then the principal called me in the office. I'm 25, fresh out of college, first master's degree. And they said, Dr. Johnson, my teacher told me that you told her she's the reason that boy can't read. I said, yes, principal, but that's true. I can prove it to you. Let me get out. She said, wait. We don't blame teachers when children don't learn. I said, I beg your pardon? She said, we don't blame teachers when children don't learn. But if the teacher No, you got it wrong, Mr. Johnson. I wasn't a doctor yet. You got it wrong. See, the parents need to be working with that boy. You got it wrong. See, he don't pay attention in the classroom. You got it wrong. He come from a neighborhood where the only thing a boy Listen, welcome out, welcome out. Good to see everybody. Peace and love. Peace and blessings to everyone. It's good to be back in Atlanta. Thanks for coming out. It's graduation weekend. And I want to say congratulations to all the brothers and sisters who are earning their bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, doctorate degrees, our high school brothers and sisters, middle school brothers and sisters, and even our babies in elementary school. Education is very, very important. Sometimes we forget that because the quality of the education we receive often turns our children off from what it actually is. I'm going to ask brothers, if you see some sisters coming in who need a place to sit, especially my brothers on the outer rows, as I see some queens over here, please let's cater to our women. They need to see that. It's been so long since they had that. And that's an important thing to talk about too, because sometimes when I talk to the young brothers in the prisons, in the halfway houses, they tell me how they don't respect black women unless they see them respecting themselves. And I got a little bit of a problem with that, because a true man, a true God, is not going to reduce himself down to a level that is disrespectful of what the feminine energy should be celebrated as. And so a real black man will lift that black woman up and make her respect and appreciate and acknowledge the divinity laying within her. This journey of mine, brothers and sisters, started 15 years ago. 2 days before my 25th birthday, I had earned my master's degree in school psychology from Millersville University in Pennsylvania. And I came back to the school district of Philadelphia to do an internship, which was necessary if I was going to be certified. So I came back to Philadelphia. I was excited because my father sent me away to military school. So I really didn't get that inner city high school experience because it was cut off in the 8th grade. But I respect the decision he made, because my father thought I was a mama's boy. So he said, I'm going to get you away from your mama's skirt. And that's what he did. And so going to that white racist high school did help me. A Beyonce weave. Don't blame media, don't blame radio, don't blame BET, blame yourself. So what do we do, Dr. Johnson? You're telling me that if I put him in a white school, he's going to be taught to hate himself. If I leave him in the ghetto, he got to fight every day, and he may not learn. So what do I do until you build your little school? Unfortunately, you got to choose between the lesser of the two evils. Listen. If it was me with my 2 little girls and I got to make a decision, I'm going to decide that she goes to the school in the hood. If I can't find an African-centered school, independent or charter, if I can't find an African-centered school, she's going to stay in the ghetto school. You know why? Because in the ghetto school, she might got to fight a little bit. Might got to survive a black eye or two. But I don't have to worry about my baby girl's self-esteem being crippled by racist white females. See, if the education ain't good in the hood, I can work with her at home. If the teacher not teaching her how to count, I can do that at home. But if they teach my baby girl that every time she looks in the mirror, she looking at hell incarnate, I'll never be able to reverse that. Brothers and sisters, on Wednesday coming up, we celebrate exactly 1 year since I started this fundraising crusade to raise this money to build the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. We started with $5 million to give us enough to buy the school and then rehab it. We dropped it to $2 million because we heard St. Paul's College in Virginia was being considered by other people for purchase. And then I just found out 2 weeks ago in Chicago, 3 weeks ago, I got a text message while I was backstage about to come out and do my lecture. And someone affiliated with St. Paul said, Dr. Johnson, I just got word that the federal government of the United States is going to be buying St. Paul's College. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm a student of history. Help me out because I might be missing something. Have you ever heard of the United States government buying a historically black college before? I never heard of it either until mine. And now all of a sudden, as they see us inching a little bit closer, now they want to come and snatch down on the school and snatch it away like a vulture. So by the end of this month, St. Paul's will be federal property. I don't know what they want to do with it, whether they're going to turn it into a jail. What they expect to do when they grow up is sell drugs or play basketball. I said, well, man, with all due respect, I'm from this neighborhood. I grew up around the corner. When my parents divorced, my mother was a single mom. So don't tell me what he can't learn because you're looking at him right now. And so every day, my job, brothers and sisters, was a fight. And what bothered me was when I looked at some of my black school psychologist colleagues, they weren't going through the same type of confrontations as I was. I said, how can this be that every day I'm arguing and you guys are having the time of your life? And I found out that some of them, not all, but some of them, the reason their job was so easy is because they valued the relationship with the teacher and the principal more than the learning of the child. And that's why I want you parents to know here today, you gotta stop getting your child tested every time some white person or some Negro tell you they can't do something well enough. As you sit here right now, half the black boys in this country in the 4th grade cannot read on a grade level. Right now, I don't care if they live in Atlanta, I don't care if they live in Charleston, I don't care if they're in Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Los Angeles, or Seattle. I don't care if they're over in Birmingham, England, where I'll be next Saturday. A lot of them can't read. So are we to believe that the reason our sons can't read is because they can't learn? Or have they not been taught? Now don't get me wrong, parents. I'm going to deal with you in a minute, but, because you got a hand in this, but I got a problem with someone telling me that if a boy can't read, blame his parents when there's a white woman making $60,000 a year with a paid summer, more holidays off than anybody else, one of the best pitchers in the country. She get paid so he can learn, but instead of holding her responsible, we're going to blame the parents, some of whom probably can't read themselves. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because tomorrow we celebrate what? 61 years to the day tomorrow of the Brown versus Board of Education decision. 61 years to the day when the United States Supreme Court said you can't use race in education no more. The United States Supreme Court said race must be abandoned as a factor in determining educational placement or quality. 61 years tomorrow, and I asked you, are the schools still separate and unequal? Yes, they are. But I want to argue something else. Because some of you suffer from the form of post-traumatic slavery disease that I call insane integrationist disorder. What is insane integrationist disorder? people living with, working with white folk does not produce a better quality of life. Logically, you know this, but psychologically, you are addicted to your oppressor. And because you are addicted to your oppressor, your love for him supersedes the best interests of your own children.
All right now.
I'm not going to knock none of you in here who got your children in private school. I'm not going to knock you because you're doing the best thing you thought was possible. The white kids out in the county, they get a better education. So let me take Raheem and Shaquita and put them out there. Maybe they'll learn better, but what you fail to realize is they can segregate your child right there in the classroom with the other white children. You fail to realize that even though he's in a class of white boys, he will be getting a Jim Crow education while the white boy is right next to him. I'm not telling you to pull him out immediately. But I'm asking you this, black mother. Do you want your son getting acculturated to only appreciating the feminine energy of a white female? Because if he going to a white private school, he being taught to honor and love the white female. Black father, do you want your daughter coming home and for her 13th birthday, she want green contacts, hazel contacts,